Welcome to Voices of the Underground, hosted by Young Ty and Robert Geaux.
Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new episode of Voices of the Underground EDM podcast, where we like to talk to underground and mainstream artists. I am your host, Young Ty, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Robert Geaux. How's it going, buddy?
Cheers, man. It's going good. Coming off our last episode, man. I'm stoked to talk. This is our first duo that we've ever had on the show, so I'm excited to
groundbreaking.
I'm excited to hear from them. Yeah, hey, this is a first for all of us.
Amazing. Love it.
You guys have seen these guys on Revealed, Rave Culture, all kinds of other labels and all that, and they're underground guys that made it to the mainstream, and they're doing so great at it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podcast Arturo Gabriel from A&G. How's it going, guys?
What up, guys? All good. How are you? Here?
Doing great, man.
I was expecting to see two cameras, but you guys are here one camera today because you guys have normally lived apart, right? So are you visiting or what's going on with you?
So yeah, let us tell you a little bit about our long distance relationship turned into a more serious relationship. We're committing. We're taking the next big step. But no, yeah. Honestly, we started out the project. We both lived in Mexico City growing up when we were young. But then we both made decisions to come to live in the U.S. But it was always apart. You've always been in L.A.
I've been in LA for 5 years.
California guy, I like it.
California guy, you know what's up.
And I've been around more. I was near the Chicago, Indiana area at first. Then I moved to Miami, and now I'm in. I guess LA dragged me here.
You guys, okay, but how did you guys? Yeah, no, it was a good call, but it's weird because you guys had a ton of releases, and obviously we'll get into all of that. But how did you guys make it work from being in obviously the same country, but big distance apart? Like, how did that? I'm actually surprised that you guys were so far.
Must have been tough.
For so long.
Yeah, it was not easy. I mean, we both had other stuff going on, so we had never really focused on this project more
100%,
than
yeah.
60% of our time, I would say. Maybe, I mean, there would be times like if we had like a month of vacation or something, then we would try to focus as much because we would either go on vacation with our families back in Mexico or wherever, or I mean, we wouldn't have much time. Overall,
I think together through a calendar year, it would be like only a month.
Really? I'm kind of taken back by that because you guys said that you've only put about 60% into the A&G project. I think that's a big surprise, right, for like a lot of us, a lot of your fans, because you guys look like a cohesive unit, right? Online.
We try to portray the image of that.
Right. Like all the 789 stuff. But I thought you guys honestly were kind of more connected. So it's crazy to see that you've been able to do all of this. I think that's my takeaway from only doing about maybe more than you said, about 50-60% capacity.
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard, but I think we've managed to make it work. And
also it's been good in a way because we've been able to experiment like independently and work on independent stuff in our own way to that eventually that would help the project. And it's crazy. Like sometimes Arturo has to go to some place and sometimes I have to go to some place, but we're there representing both of our interests. So that's also, I think, in a way, an advantage of having two people and working on the same project.
Yeah.
Duos are always really tricky, right? Like everyone has been, they probably have tried it once or twice, just having two people not click, or like, you've heard of bands breaking up and so forth. You guys have been doing this for what, about 10, 12 years, give or take,
like
or
10
so,
years,
right?
yeah.
I think how have you guys kept that together? I think that's another thing for me is like, how have you made this work so long? Two guys, two different places, but kind of that same vision.
So I guess one of the main reasons is this is a friendship turned a business partnership. So at first we're always friends, we're always like, we know each other's families. We have
a lot of mutual friends. We grew up in pretty much the same area in Mexico. We didn't go to the same school, but this started as a friendship. We met in a soccer camp in Miami when we were like 8. So that was like 14 years ago, 15 years ago. And at first, I mean, we weren't really close friends. I mean, we started going to some of the same parties when we started growing up just because we had mutual friends. So we ended up in a lot of the same circles and places and stuff. So that turned into this, you know? So I guess that's why there's such a strong foundation for this project.
Okay, well, that leads into kind of what we want to start with here. You said all that. So when did A&G first start? And you guys knew that you wanted to work together musically?
Okay, so when we mentioned soccer. So I'm a huge sports fan. I love watching sports, but I'm shit at them. I absolutely cannot play sports at all. So after trying out for so many soccer teams, I decided to go into something new. That's when a friend of mine told me, like, oh yeah, I'm taking these DJ lessons and I'm starting to DJ. And I was really into the sound, you know. I was really into Afrojack. I was really into, I mean, yeah, it was early, Laid Back Luke, Steve Angelo, all that stuff. So I went into DJing, and that's that. So I was DJing by myself for a year, and that's where
Why did you think of me? Because I wasn't even.
I just think it flowed because you came to me and you told me, like, oh yeah, I love this music, and then we were casually going to be together for the summer.
Right. We were gonna be in Miami. Yeah, because this all started in Miami. We were just talking about this with a friend the other day, and he reminded me. I think I went with my grandfather to. I think we went to Guitar Center and we couldn't find anything. Then we went to Best Buy, and that's where I got my first mixer. And it was that summer when we started kind of messing around together with the mixer and just reconnecting, just going out.
And by that point, I had already taken 1 year of DJ lessons, and I was starting to go into production lessons. I was starting to mess around with Ableton and stuff.
Yeah, and I have a musical background, like more than Gabriel.
Wait,
so it's
what Dot?
I already see Rob's face.
Oh, this is all for the motherfuckers who watch this. What DAW did we get started with? I mean, you were young. I mean, to make a decision that big, what DAW did we get going?
Yeah, Ableton. It's always been Ableton.
These are educated guys, Tyler. These guys know they know what they're doing.
Yeah. We're getting there. Love that.
I was gonna say on the show we go back and forth about it because I'm an FL Studio guy and there's so much hate in the comments about it.
I've seen that beef between you guys.
Yeah,
and I try to book as many Ableton people as possible. If you're an Ableton person, hit us up because we will book you on the show. But no, I thought it was interesting though because you started with the DJing side of it first prior to the production side. And a lot of people we've talked to, it's kind of been the reverse of that. They've been looking for an outlet to play their music. In your case, you kind of learned the nuances of DJing, and so why did you pick that one first? Was it?
I mean, it was just a program, honestly. I mean, I just went into with this guy in Mexico. He's a great teacher named Yaskin Retrodisco, and he was like, yeah, I always like to teach my students first how to DJ, and after that you move on to production. So I never questioned it, honestly. It was just like, okay, that's how it is, and that's what I'll do. I mean, I was 13 at the time. Also, I didn't know what I was doing with my life. Yeah, I was a little kid.
No, I think that's fantastic, man. And we've talked about it like so much, Ty, on this show about like what works live and how do people know if people curate their sets, then they're not real DJs to read the room. They can't switch off of that. So, I mean, have you guys been in this kind of like getting sidetracked though, but have you been in a situation where you've DJ'd some of your stuff, it just isn't working, and then you had to kind of rely on your skill set to kind of switch it up and make it happen on the fly?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we started playing anything we could play pretty much. I mean, we literally we uploaded a reel the other day where that was like a really, it was a party of mine, and we hopped on the decks for a bit, and then that was, I think, the first like public appearance that we did. And then we would play like little kids parties. We would play.
Really?
Yeah, of course. We would play anything.
No shit.
We would play,
okay.
Then we started playing like middle school parties, and then like high school parties,
and sidetrack
school events as well. Like
middle school parties in Mexico City don't really go well with EDM. They want to listen to music in Spanish, and we were always in a constant struggle where people would hire us, and we're like, "Fuck it, we're EDM DJs. We're not going to play, we're not going to play that." And then people would complain, and it would be like, "Shit, why are they not reacting to our stuff?"
Yeah, and there would be times where they didn't even pay us. Like they would just be like, "No, you guys, I didn't like what you guys played," and we were 12 or 13, so we couldn't really. We were talking to 18-year-olds that were, we couldn't really do anything about it.
Right.
Like.
can't muscle them over. Yeah,
Exactly.
like, yeah, no, for sure. No, I didn't know that about you. That's why I like having guys on the show, because like this is like real grassroots stuff that it wasn't. You guys weren't like some overnight producers that
Right.
made a bunch of hits and then all of a sudden, boom, you're on Ultra. Like you guys literally started from the backyard up. It's so fascinating.
It's been a long journey, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I mean, we're not even close to where we want to be, but I think starting from that just gave us a lot of like the full experience pretty much. So now we know like everything. Like we know it all around. We have a lot of experience, and we know what it's like to start from the bottom, you know? So that's very valuable, I think.
Yeah, if I throw out TNC recordings, that's when I first heard of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like down the line. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's like early on.
That's like 5 years in.
Yeah, like 5 years in,
Really? Okay.
production wise. Yeah, because we started releasing on Yaxgains, our teacher,
Record label, yeah.
his record label. We released 2 EPs there, which are still online. We're not gonna say the names. If you find it, hit us up. Upload a story and we'll repost it. But we're not gonna tell you names because we're a little bit. I mean, no shame, but they're not good.
Everybody starts from somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Even A&G starts from somewhere, guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like we all have those, bro. We all have these early projects. I think we were doing this, Ty, a couple months ago. We were in like a small group. We were in sharing our first projects, bro. I think you were a rapper at first, weren't you?
Let's not get into that.
Bars.
Let's not get
No,
into
you're
that.
fucking
Some
machine.
bars, bro.
No.
Let's hear some bars.
See, again, I try to put him on this. I've tried that. And he doesn't. No, but no. Let me ask you this though, because I am fascinated by the culture, right? You guys were obviously born in Mexico, so the Latin culture. Did you feel like, now obviously fast forward a little bit, in your productions, like the Dioros of the world or another great Mexican EDM guys, did you feel like you wanted to put more Latin influences, or you guys had like this genre, right? Progressive trance genre. Like this is something that you like, it struck home for you. Did you feel any pressure to do things like that are more culturally related or crossovers?
I think we were just at the beginning at our early stages, we were just closed off on that. We actually, we just did what we did, and we didn't think of doing other things or experimenting with other stuff, because that was just our thing, and that was what we wanted to do, and that was what we enjoyed doing at the time. And yeah, of course, like we heard the trends and the sound going like what it's now, like it's Latin music dominates the world. But we were never influenced by that, because we genuinely just like doing our own stuff.
Yeah, that's not us, I think. I mean, we try to incorporate our culture and who we are and our roots, like the Mexican essence, to the project as much as we can. But that doesn't mean we're closed to doing that.
Yeah,
Like, we're pretty open-minded, and lately we've been trying a lot of different stuff. We've actually worked on songs in Spanish. They're just like never came out. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I personally love Latin music now more than ever, and I think I don't think it would be a bad idea. Like, why not?
Yeah, we're not closed off to that at all, especially at this point in our careers.
Well, with your guys' voices, man, you guys can make a sick track. I want to get into that a little bit. No, but yeah. So wait, time out. Let me rewind. You guys said you have some Latin tracks. They're like work in progress. These are just kind of things you were messing around. So it's on the hard drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Everything is on the hard drive.
Dude, you got to break those out in the show, break like some IDs when you guys play a show and see how play test
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
I'm telling you, it's pretty dope.
I mean, we always try to incorporate some sort of Latin influence in our shows. Like when we were in China, when we were in Thailand or Malaysia, like we always would play like a reggaeton song or something
Or
in
cumbia,
Spanish
or
cumbia or salsa, anything that was just Latin influenced, because that's where we come from, So and I don't necessarily think that they love that over there, but that's who we are. And some people will be confused. Some people will react really well, because it's very danceable stuff. So it's always good to like have that influence in our project. I say everywhere we go.
So okay, so as you guys have gotten together here, you've started the DJ, and you were DJing, like you said, like quinceaneras. I imagine you guys probably hit a couple of those,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so those go. Hey, not gonna lie, those are some of the best parties. But like, yeah. So when did you guys start making hay when it comes to like the production side of it? Because I mean, obviously we can go through all the collabs here, but where did it start for you, like really coming together and started being like a viable option, like where you guys said, hey, this is pretty fucking good, like we can get this out?
I mean, we were very proud of everything that we did from
Yeah,
the start.
for
We
sure.
never really doubted ourselves and our potential. I think a lot of producers back then, like I would have conversations with friends that were super talented and they're killing it right now. And they were not confident on their music, and their music was 10 times better than our music. And I would be like, dude, like, why are you not putting music out? Like, this is insane. And that was never an issue for us. I think we were always very,
It was like baby steps, because like at the time when we started to release stuff on SoundCloud and it started to get a thousand plays and start to get likes and comments, we were like, okay, wow, this is going up. And then we started collaborating with people we looked up to, and it was like, okay. And then we started with the labels and the like the smaller labels, and then the big labels, and then the live support. So it was always, I think, building up. And yeah, I mean, to the point where it is right now, where we, still have aspirations and dreams on the production side, and we still want to collaborate with people, and we still want to reach certain milestones. So it's just that, it just keeps building up, and just trusting the process. But that's a good
yeah.
point. That's a good point. We've always been satisfied and proud of what we've
Yeah.
done.
And I think that's the most important thing. Just being happy with what you're doing, because that really reflects to the outside, that people see that. Like if you genuinely love what you're putting out, I think you can tell if they're doing it because of a trend, if they're doing it just to ride a wave, or because that's who you are, so that's I think very important. And that was from it's always been like that.
Yeah.
So you guys touched on something I wanted to talk about, which was trends, right? And it's been much talked about since Hardwell's gotten back, right? The whole Bigroom scene is a lot of guys have shifted. You've seen bigger art shifted, guys shifted even beforehand. What's your take on that? What is your take on like the direction of just EDM and Bigroom? Now you're seeing more house, more techno stuff. How it's working live. Like what is some of your takeaways from that?
I mean, I like it. I like where it's going. I think Bigroom has gotten to a point, like just Bigroom, the OG Bigroom sound. It's gotten to a point where it can't go much further. There's not many other lanes to explore with the actual Bigroom sound, I would say. And I think it was about time that people would start sort of innovating a little bit. I'm completely like supporting that, because I think nothing lasts forever, and it was amazing while it lasted. But I think trends change, and to have that big room essence in the new stuff that's been coming out, I think that's sick, because it means that big room is still around in just a different shape. But there's still a lot of influences from arrangement, from pre-drop vocals, from big leads, from like hands up moments. It's everywhere, and it's just, I think it's exciting. It's also scary, of course, for everyone, because things are changing. You have to step out of your comfort zone, and yeah, I mean,
so has that affected you guys and your productions, and kind of like maybe have like rethink, like, should we be experimenting with this as well? Is that something that's influenced you in a certain sense?
Yeah. I think we've been more open to leave our comfort zone and leave the formula that we had for certain years of producing a track and making this and that, and we've been open to change and flip and go into even other genres, explore other kinds of music. So these are waves that come and change the genre around a bit, I think, help all of the music scene and develop new sounds and develop new artists and new trends. And I think it's super important. It's refreshing because I think that's the music scene in general, not only in EDM. It's everywhere.
I mean, that's everything.
Yeah.
Cycles.
Yeah.
You know, trends come and go, waves pass by.
Yeah,
and
but if not, it would just be a standstill, and there would be no innovation in the world, and people would, you know, it would we would stay stuck there. And
Exactly.
yeah, so of course we love these new trends and these new sounds. And
Yeah,
Well, that's what I said last episode. I'm like, dude, if we haven't evolved in music, we'd still be fucking listening to classical music right now.
yeah, exactly.
Like right, like evolution is a good thing because we're getting new things. But no, I like what you guys talked about. Like Bigroom is still around and it's still being used. It's just a different manner. But I think it's an homage to it.
Maybe it's not called Bigroom, but it's people. I mean, it is Bigroom, and the people who know what Bigroom stands for and what Bigroom is or was, it's still around. And it's like trance. I mean, the techno sound is very trancey. Melodic house is like trance,
it's slower trance.
It's like, you know, it's just called different names. I think the trends are just names because the music is just like, if you compare stuff that was coming out in the 90s, like, and you start listening to some of the stuff that's coming out today, there's a lot of similar stuff. It's just a cycle that's
over and over again.
You know?
I was there in the 90s and
Yeah.
I can confirm that is fucking true.
Yeah.
I was born in the 80s. I can confirm that there's a lot. Well, Ollie James was doing it. He was doing like a lot of old school songs, and my buddy and I were like, "Hey, I know this night," or like it's in the same similar vibe of a track.
And a lot of people think it's new because they'd never listened to it. You know, young people that have never, obviously, they were not there. I mean, we were not there. So it's refreshing, you know, and it's probably refreshing for you too because you haven't heard that in a long time.
No, it's nice to kind of like hear it come back, especially now that I'm obviously older. It's like, dude, that's sick. And then they modernized it, right? They modernized it like the way Ollie James has done it, where it's a little faster and the kick hits a little harder. So it's like, dude, it bangs live a little better. You guys just came off of New York, right? You guys just came back from New York. You saw a show. So you saw this live. How'd that go, man? Like,
bro,
what was the vibe of that?
Honestly, it's so energetic, and I think people are very invested in it, and maybe it doesn't sell the amount of tickets, or it doesn't stream as it did before, but the people that are genuinely there because they love the music. I was interviewing a lot of the fans and talking to them, and they genuinely support this movement and stand for it. And also Laid Back Luke was there, and he's a guy that's been around for all of the waves. And I was asking him like, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about this sound? And he just pointed to the crowd like, bro, like, this is what I feel like. Look at this. People were going insane. They were going mad. And yeah, I think it's a super innovative sound, and I think the response has been good. Maybe initially it wasn't, but people, when you hear it live, or when you start, you know, like learning the songs and seeing
the whole experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an experience. I mean, it's the third time you see the show. I saw it 2 times. I saw it in Miami and in Croatia. And I just had chills. Like the Croatia set was out of this world. Like it was insane. And the energy, remember, like by the end of the set, like the people were just
going nuts,
going crazy. And I mean,
and even if we go beyond that, like before, we used to be like diehard ravers. We would go to all these Bigroom events, W&W and Danik and Dyro, and they would go to Mexico all the time. And now as a concert goer, I mean, as a fan myself, I go to these like techno events or these like houseier DJs, and it's a different experience, but it's also good, you know. It also makes you feel good. Also has this special connection and this special energy. And this music, I mean, the more it evolves, the more it surprises and it gains, you know, the trends.
Yeah. It's refreshing because when we were waiting in anticipation for Hardwell to come out, and what is he going to play? What's going to be the next wave of music? And he came out with all that. It's refreshing to hear all this new Bigroom techno coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard a lot of people that did like similar things that what he's doing right now. Like there's a lot of influence from trance. There's a lot of influence from techno as well. There's a lot of influence from Bigroom. And I think what makes him, I mean, the concepts that he's using are amazing. I love it. It's very hardstyle like influenced as well. But the mix downs, like the way it sounds live, that's I think to me the most special part of the experience.
Most definitely.
So if you guys haven't watched the show, you guys should.
Well, Ty, you were there at Ultra.
Yep.
And you were in the mix, like when it first dropped, and no one quite knew what to expect. Everyone was speculating, like, okay, it's going to be this, that, and the other. And so, yeah, you got to experience basically in real time, like this whole new sound, which is great. It's interesting that you guys say that it's kind of affected you in a positive way as far as rethinking and getting you out of your comfort zone. Hopefully a lot of like producers that are listening, like they understand, like it's okay to get out of your comfort zone. And I think what happens, Ty, and we talked about it before, I think with Roy, was when artists come up, they feel like they have to have a signature sound. And I wanted to ask you guys about that because you guys have tracks in all types of genres. You guys done Bigroom, you've done progressive trance, on and on and on and on. So is that something that you ever considered, or you're just going to make something that speaks to you at that very time and place?
We can just never afford the same ghost producer every time. So.
Oh, I want to talk about that too, because I ran across a reel the other day that I sent to my wife, and I was like, check this shit out. Dude.
No, I mean, before we get into that, I think you have no choice and to step out of your comfort zone. I think if you don't step out of your comfort zone, you're going to stay behind everyone.
So can we put to bed this whole signature sound thing by an artist? Is that is that important or is that less important?
I do think in a way your sound should be noticeable no matter the genre of the track, because I think when you listen to an A&G track, there is something in there, some kind of sound or arrangement or stuff that you can reflect back to other tracks. What you were talking about before, the voice for us, or we were doing a lot of concepts and gimmicks, but I don't know if there is just it depends, because let's say Art Bat has a signature sound, and Art Bat's signature sound is theirs, and other people are doing it as well, but it's ultimately theirs.
I think it's more important of having an essence. Like, who are you? Like we've been doing with the reels, we're two guys that like to have fun. Like sometimes, I mean, some people consider us funny. Like, yeah,
we're goofy. Like
we like to have fun. We like to laugh. We're a little bit sarcastic too. So we're trying to also portray that, like, who we are, and have people connect with us a little bit more than just, oh, I like their signature sound, it's great.
It's a brand. You guys are literally talking about having brand recognition.
Yeah,
which I think, look, and I'm not saying this just because you guys are right here in front of me, but I think when it comes to EDM artists, you guys might have the best brand recognition, right? Especially what you're doing with the reels and how you guys are like coming off as very personable, like in Revealed Night, Ty, right? You guys, I followed all. Usually when you go through people's stories and they're at like a festival, you just click in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? You're just getting right, But with you fucking guys, you guys are pouring up shots. You guys generally look like you're having a good time.
Because that's who we are. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, that's who we are when we go to a party with our friends. We're the fuckers that are pouring out shots and being extroverted and, just having a good time. And that's
and it's been hard to like make that decision, because we've always been like, oh, we have to keep our image clean and we have to do this. But you know what? Like, me personally, and I think I can speak for you, we've always liked to see what people are doing, and even more what our people we look up to are doing. Like, if Hardwell uploads a video of him cooking or what, I would watch it in like a second, just because I look up to him. You're like naturally invested in someone else's life in a way, like you just want to see more if you dig what they're doing. So I think that's, we were just like, fuck it, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, this is who we are. Like, sooner or later, people are going to find out,
Well, so I like how you guys said that you like to connect and like show who you are and all that, because we have this talk all the time on the show. Like, do I post too much personal stuff on my Instagram and all that? It's not just about your music. Like you said, it's about connecting.
There's a line, of course, where you have to be a little bit careful with what you post, because how many artists I mean, or people don't you guys follow that you're like, fuck, like, come on, like, are you really posting this? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
there's a line, but I think that if yeah, I mean,
at least we can show our personas and we can show all this, and this ties to the initial question with the signature. Yeah, I mean, it might not be a sound for us, even though we do think there is a A&G sound and in the music.
Yeah, totally.
But it's that's our signature.
It's
and that's
more
what
of a
we're trying
vibe.
to do.
I think there's a vibe.
It's not the same sound. It's not the same saws that are. I think you guys might know where I'm going with this. Might not know where I'm going with this with 2020 Bigroom, where it's the same thing. Like, okay, dude, we get it. Like you got that. Like we get it. But it's definitely like a richness in what you guys do that you can say, okay, that's an A&G track, no doubt.
Or the way we mix our songs, like the kick is always like in your face, like super loud, and it's always loud, and we do certain things that maybe you don't notice, but then if you hear all of our tracks, then you can find patterns. Like, hey, they did this here, like in every song. They're different genres, but they did this. So it's like, I think it's more of creating an overall vibe for the project, and I think that's what we've been trying to do. We're not even close to like mastering that part, but I think you got to start somewhere and
trial and error,
exactly. And I think it's been working out for us. You know, it's definitely been working out, and people seem to be enjoying what we're doing. So that's always a good sign.
That's what makes you know. And you guys do have a signature sound because you put them out on 7, 8, 9, 10 for all these younger producers and even ourselves here.
Oh, man.
Let's get into that.
Dude.
Your 7, 8, 9, 10s.
Yeah, you guys have a big competition going on right now.
Yes, we encourage you. I mean, I don't know when this will air. I don't know if the competition will be close by then. But the people that are joining, we're super excited. We literally wanted to give back something in a way to the community and to the fans that are buying our pack and investing their money into our pack and our stuff. So we wanted to give them an opportunity to at least, you know, hear them out, figure out how they can get creative with our sound. And we honestly, we're going to be super open with the competition, even if it's a sound something we've never experimented with, but we're like, oh wow, this is creative and this is clever. We're super down to try it, even if it's not the 128 Bigroom stuff. We're super excited to hear all of the entries.
So you're accepting my dubstep.
You never know,
dude. You could lay down some rap vocals over some of those samples.
Here we go
and
again.
Fuck, we got a crossover hit. I don't understand why we're not doing this already.
If they ask me to do some vocals, I will. That's about it.
No, that'd be sick. Gas, dude. That'd be gas.
I love it. I mean, we did say you can get as crazy as you want. So
you did say that because I saw this come across my feed before we got on, and I was like, dude, this is sick. It's cool because it's $7.89. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
So super cost effective. So all the people are like, yo, we really can't afford a pack, but hey, you don't got to go to torrent for this one, and you can actually buy it. And no, but it's great because it's super interactive, and I like this because you're doing stuff for the community. If we look at this, the big picture of the competition here, it really is like be more interactive with the community, more connected with the community. And I like that you guys really have I feel like you guys have your hand on the pulse when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we come from that, so we know how hard it is to come up, and we know how frustrating can be, and how just tough. I mean, reaching out to people, having people ghosting you, people just shitting on your music, like it's not easy. And I would have loved to have this type of stuff when we were coming up, and at the same time we've always received helping hands to help us, get further into our career and become more successful in this industry. So now that we're in a position where we can do the same to some young kid or old kid, whatever, why not do it? Yeah.
Me? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Me. Yeah. No, it's great though. And like I said, the resources are fantastic. What's available now, like you said, 10, 12 years ago, just this wasn't possible. I do have to ask you this though. You guys have done 7, 8, 9 stuff. Okay. And you've done some like project files or like project starter files, right? Has anybody sent you your stuff to you for a collab? Like, hey bro, I got this idea.
Oh, an FLP
shit
or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Has anyone done that to you?
I've heard a couple of tracks where I can definitely hear the starter, but that's what they're for, That's
true.
Honestly, I mean, it's literally that's what it's for. obviously,
But you got to be smart about
always try to encourage people to like use it as a starter pack, starter project or whatever, and then tweak it onto your own thing.
Dude, I remember talking to Rosario about this, Kevin, and
Yeah.
he was like, bro, because he's an FL guy, right? And so there'll be like FLPs with his pack. We're like, dude, these guys sent me my track literally back to me, except they didn't have all the plugins, so it was all fucked up on the mix and mastering. And I was like, man, it's not. That's why we give FL guys a hard time, Tyler. Because the stories that run countless to that. But no, I like you said, I think it's fantastic that you guys are doing this. Now, when do you guys pick the contest winners? When is it? How's this? What's the mechanics of this?
It's gonna be the 28th. We're gonna do probably like a stream. We haven't figured that out yet, but we're gonna listen to all the demos and then we're gonna pick the winner, and then we're gonna record a full-on tutorial. You know, we're gonna work on with the bass that we pick. We're gonna work on it and upload a full-on tutorial for and an additional sample pack with more sounds.
Whatever we use on the project.
Yeah, no, this is huge, man. No, I'm like I said, I'm glad that you guys are doing this for the community, because you guys collabed with somebody from the underground scene recently, right?
Yeah,
Links. Yeah. That was the day you had 3 releases in the same day.
Crazy.
How did that happen? Well, first of all, how'd that go for you? How'd that happen?
That was unexpected. I mean, one of them was a compilation release, and the other one was a remix. But
we pretty much. I mean, we had the release set up, and we pretty much couldn't tell Armin van Buuren to like delay his compilation. So I guess we just took the L there.
No, I know it's hard, but I thought you guys did a good job of like, hey, 3 releases. I think you guys did a really good job on social media.
I mean, why not?
You guys like,
you know, and honestly, we weren't even planning on that until like I think it was like 2 weeks before that we found out the compilation was going to come out the same day, and then we found out like 2 days before about the remix. So we were like, fuck, like you either look at it as like this is going to ruin my release, or you just like go with it. Like there's nothing you can do, you know? So it's, yeah, I mean, shit happens.
Having 3 releases in a year is good. You guys did it in a singular day. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of social media, Ty, we Ty, before we got on, we were talking about this and how these guys fucking do this. So I'm sitting there the other day and I'm scrolling endlessly through Instagram, and it's like an abyss. Dude, we've all done it, right? I'm going through reels, and then your guys' reel comes up as suggested. And it's how we make, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like how we make our tracks part 2. Yeah. And this, I sent this to every woman, and child I knew, because it was like where you were in the bathroom and get pulled over by a cop, and then it's a full blown rave. I mean, it is so creative. I have to ask you, okay, I have so many questions about this. Like, first of all, who comes up with the ideas here? I'm going to keep going, but who comes up with the ideas when it comes to these reels? How does this work?
Bro, we honestly, I mean, some of them just come naturally, like, you know, you're just naturally. And the others, we kind of write some scripts and then we fuck around with them, but it doesn't work out. And then we readapt it. But it's honestly just like, it's us two just like thinking about funny stuff to upload on the internet.
It's just the two of you guys. Like, this isn't like management teams involved, like none of that.
No,
bro. A&G is us two only. We haven't.
Yeah, we don't have anyone involved. Like, we don't have a team.
Really?
No booking agency, no management, nothing. I mean, we work with people, but we haven't really committed ourselves to anyone because it's just. I think it's better off just helping each other project to project with certain people. Or it's just not the right timing for us, you know. It's more about us more than the other people. Like we are very picky, and we were going through a lot of change. Like Gabriel moving here, everything was very uncertain. So we've never really had a team.
That really surprised me, because you look at the quality of these productions, and it's like, I thought, okay, like, oh, their management set this up, and they've got like a camera guy over here and the editor doing this. This is like a full, like, mom and pop from the ground up stuff, right? It's just you two doing the editing on this and everything.
Everything, yeah.
Fuck, dude, I have no excuse, Ty.
Yeah.
I got no excuse. These guys are making like Pixar shorts out here, and I'm over here like trying to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna post. That's unbelievable, dude. The one with the coffee maker. Oh, I fucking
you
love
like that one?
dude. I sent that to I was like, here's another one. My wife Sherry, here's another one, because it was funny. It was, first of all, it was funny. But dude, that was a banger what you guys made on it. I was like, so sick.
You see, there's a little bit of Latin influence in that one.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. So I guess it's funny because we've talked about ad nauseum on this show of like, you really got to be a one-stop shop. Like, it's part producer, it's part DJ, it's
Everything.
part
Booker, manager,
Lawyer, bro.
lawyer.
yeah, because you guys sign a lot of contracts.
Yeah, and you also see that you don't need a management team and all that to do. And
We've
make
been
it where you're
fucked
at.
a lot of times.
It's gonna happen.
Wait,
You know?
wait, how did that happen for you? Like, how in what regard?
I mean, we're just two kids that, I mean, we still are, but we were unexperienced. Like, we were excited to sign to a label. We were, and there's always, I mean, I guess that has to happen. It doesn't have to happen, but I guess that's the best way you can learn from something if it happens to you and it affects you directly. So I think we just ate shit. Like, a lot of shit, and now we just know what to avoid, not to eat shit anymore. So it's a learning process, and it's a lot of falling and getting up, and then maybe falling in the same place.
Like, let me specifically though, like, for people listening, because it's crazy. Ty, we talked about it last show with Roy, like how these contracts get signed. They just fucking email it to you. Like, I've never done, in my professional life, I've never done business like this before, where they just email you a contract, sign here, it's got to clear the minimum. Okay, boom, send it back. So people are excited to just have a release that they just sign wherever the fuck they're doing. So what specifically did you guys learn, if you could share that, like, that would be a pitfall that other guys should not fall into?
You can always negotiate.
Okay.
There's always room for negotiation. They're always going to send you the shittiest deal because they have to make money. And if they have someone that will sign a shitty deal, that's amazing for them. And I don't blame anyone for that. That's business at the end of the day. So I think,
this is a music business.
Yeah, you have to be smart about it. You have to think of it as a business, because it is a business at the end of the day. And
I think it's just like, getting a pull of your emotions, and it's like,
exactly.
Okay, I wanted this label my whole life, and now I got it, so I'm gonna sign whatever, or I'm gonna play this festival and I'm gonna accept, I mean, there are some opportunities that are worth taking and that are worth investing in, but then there's also, we've heard it a lot in experiences, like people who pay for gigs. It's like, that's no benefit, at the end of the day. I mean,
wait. That's a thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I know people get paid a little bit of money, like they would get, kind of like short ended there. I didn't realize that was happening.
There's people who pay for gigs. They pay for playing. And
yeah, there's plenty of gigs that you got to, sell a certain amount of tickets, or they're not even going to put you on the lineup, or they're going to put
not
you
even
first.
that. Not even that. Like, actually just pay a promoter to play.
Oh, okay.
Like a festival, not even sell tickets, just pay them like a certain amount that they come up with, I guess. And
That's crazy.
just put you in a festival, and yeah, I mean,
but I mean, the intention here is not to throw shade on anyone or whatever. It's just mainly like, if you're in for this for the long run, and if this is what you want to do professionally, then you just gotta stand your ground and not jump onto any opportunity. Like, get a hold of your emotions. At the end of the day, this is a business, so you gotta act as if you were a businessman closing a deal on Wall Street or whatever. And at the end of the day, there are opportunities worth investing, and investment isn't necessary like any business, but you just gotta be careful with that, and get a hold of your emotions before jumping onto anything that comes your way.
And the right time will never come. If you keep waiting for the right time, you have to make decisions. And we've learned this from the biggest artists in the industry. Like, we've had talks with them where they're like we come up to them and we're like, hey, we have this opportunity or this, and then they're like, don't rush into anything. If you really think it's worth it, yeah, but this is just the first one or the second one or the third one of many opportunities that you guys will have. So don't rush into it. Everything has to feel right. But yeah, never rush into anything. unless there's obviously a deadline and stuff that you have to rush. But yeah, I mean,
That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, one door closes, another one opens.
Well,
Exactly.
just the fact that you guys have cut your teeth. I think I'm still taken back by the fact that you guys have handled this all yourself. It's interesting, that you guys have been able to do this from the ground up. So when you say, yeah, you've probably tapped into about 50-60% of the potential of the project, you guys aren't kidding, man.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
bro.
it's exciting. It's also it's yeah. I mean, I think it's a new step for us. We've never done this 100% of the time, so it's like, yeah.
Well, yeah. Let me get ahead of myself here. Where's A&G going? That's a question I kind of wanted to know. As I've started to talk to you a little bit, you guys have moved in together. You have some new developments, right, in your career. Like, where is this project going? Because you've done a lot already.
Okay, so yeah, I think in a way we do intend on starting to build a more solid and more like official team per se. So that way we can tap into other markets, explore other opportunities. We do want to start, like touring and having gigs more consistently around the globe, because that is very hard when you're self-managed. We want to make a bigger brand. I mean, we think we're doing good with our brand identity, but we want to explode that further. And we also want to explore different genres. We want to explore different kinds of music. We want to explore, continue to evolve as producers as well. And what we were talking about, trends, not necessarily follow these trends, but just explore the opportunities that these trends have opened the path for.
Yeah, like reels, for example, not even music related.
Yeah.
Like reels, I mean, how many big room producers are doing reels? Or not even big room, but just because I don't want to put ourselves in that big room box. It's really not that, But EDM producers, there's a lot of opportunity there. There's more than you guys think.
Yeah, there's a lot of, well, we talked about like off camera, like there's a lot of introverted people that are involved in EDM, and understandably so. There's a lot of younger people, right?
Yeah,
It's a very
that's
young
right.
audience, young crowd. Ty, dude, I just found this out. I almost fell out of my chair last week. Ty, you did TikTok. I want to talk about TikTok here. You did a TikTok, right? You were experimenting. This is exactly what these guys are talking about. And you had like how many fucking views did you get on that?
Okay, it's 9.2 million, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
Dude got 9.2 million views on TikTok.
Yeah, it's insane.
And we've always talked about, yeah, right, Ty? Like,
It was just an
are
experiment.
you guys on TikTok?
Imagine if that's only an experiment, now a well thought thing, something that, I mean, you have to start experimenting. Like we started experimenting with the reels. We didn't know if people were gonna like them. We didn't know if we were gonna nail the editing. We didn't even know if the people were gonna like get
The point.
the
yeah.
point of the reels. Like they were gonna be like what the fuck are these guys doing? Like stick to music, like stuff like that. But they reacted well, and I think nowadays just people are just looking for content.
Is TikTok on your guys' radar? Is that something that you guys
Yeah, I mean,
want
We
to
haven't
do or
haven't
have done?
really we haven't really like given it a push or an effort, but that's definitely something we're going to try and explode these coming months, and try and build a more loyal fan base there, because I think the content is there.
Yeah.
and it's just a thing of
It's a great tool. It's a tool that's out there for everyone, and I think that if you don't make use of it, you're not doing things right. And I can tell you, like, we haven't utilized YouTube at all. Like, probably a couple videos, but no. Like,
It's tough.
and that, yeah, I mean, that's a missed opportunity right there for us, and we know that. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard to create content for every platform and not having a team and just stay on top of everything, the music, the bookings, the everything. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think there's a lot of other people that have done it themselves, so I think there's really no excuse for that. And that's sort of the next step of us being together, being able to create the content together, because that was hard,
Yeah.
having different schedules, different
Time
focuses,
zones,
time
even.
zones. Like, it's just not easy to like record stuff together when you're not together.
Definitely. And yeah, all these social media platforms and all that, people way back in the day when Rob was born back in the 50s, they didn't have
Ah,
social media
fuck,
and all
man.
that.
See, you always get me on one of those, dude. It's 1980. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have fucking cell phones or most of the modern things we're doing now, but, you know, we had some shit.
Yeah, but back then it was a lot harder to, have people find out about your
Yeah.
music and your albums and all that coming
Oh,
out with social media.
dude.
You know,
You'd have to sell your stuff out of a trunk, dude. Like seriously, you'd have to go like real, like, yo, here, check me out, check this out, or honestly, you'd have to have a record deal, right? You'd have to be with one of the major record labels to get your stuff distributed, which is nice now because yeah, you can go viral. I think that's another thing too. Have you guys seen the transition from people finding you through like reels, like how I did on suggested reels? And then kind of guiding you to your music. Like, have you seen like or heard
100%.
stories like that?
I've seen so many, like our Instagram has been going all the time. And I think this is because like you said, like you find one reel. But if you only have one reel, they're gonna go into your profile and then there's nothing else to see. So now if you have at least 10 more
and then music on
and
the
then
side.
music, it's more attractive, I think, and
That's
there's
how you
more
get-
to
that-
see.
Yeah, that's how you gain a fan.
Yeah, and honestly, like for example, like these guys, Nico and Sway, they've been killing it with the
Oh,
content.
yeah.
You know, they've been putting out content, so much content, and they're always on my feed. And I think nowadays that's the goal. Like rather than my post did really well or my post did really bad, just who cares? Like just put stuff out there, have people see you, like be consistent with that, and I mean, yeah, the numbers will come, you know, and that's literally what's been happening to us. We started putting out reels maybe 2 months ago, and the numbers were not good. And now every day they get higher and higher and higher and higher, and we see less unfollows on Instagram because that's a thing. People are always following, unfollowing. We see more follows than unfollows now. We see, I mean, our page grew a lot this summer. The engagement has gone up. Like everything is, and we just did one thing, and that was be a little more
Consistency,
consistent.
you guys got content there for them to stay around instead of just a few things like you said. And why would they follow you then?
Exactly.
Well, and I think too, what keeps people around, and we've talked about this before, is like you guys respond. You guys kind of go out of your way to respond to a lot of people, like when
Every
you post
time.
on your page.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
I see. Well, that's fucking my question, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I see a lot of guys in the goddamn underground scene, and it's like, hey, man, you're not a big leaguer yet. You're not David Guetta yet. You have. I'm certain you see these comments.
Yeah.
Probably could be a good idea to respond to them, make fans out of these guys.
Why not? We're all. I think our main thing, like since we started, is just be nice. You know, I think being
we're trying
nice,
to be friendly with everyone.
Be nice. Obviously, be nice with people that respect you, that are respectful, that are nice to you, and just try to be nice. Like, there's no reason to be a dick. There's no reason to like just like why, you know. There's really no point. That's me and Gabriel, but and being nice takes you a long way. Like, I'd rather work with someone who's nice than someone who's a dick and the most talented guy out there or girl. Like,
it doesn't make it fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about just having a good time, I think.
And the energy and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just be nice.
There's too many egos in this scene anyways to begin with.
Yeah.
It's funny because we always talk about like tips and tricks and things like that, but it's the most basic things that still ring true. It's like people who people want to work with who they like and whom they trust, and being nice is like part of that equation, right?
Yeah,
like
I mean, why not?
Building relationships and building, rapport with people. That's
word of mouth. I mean, someone telling
Exactly.
someone, "Hey, these guys are super nice," and don't be nice because someone tells you to be nice. Be nice because you mean
it's genuine.
You mean it's genuine. Exactly. That's and because people can tell.
Oh yeah, they can tell you on Discord, all right.
Yeah.
Careful of that play.
You can talk all you want, but the vibe can be felt. You know, like you can talk out of your way out of situations. You can talk like bullshit a lot, but people can feel the vibe, and like if you're being genuine about what you're saying, you know?
Yeah, and like a lot of these fans and stuff, I'm a fan of you guys. And when I met you guys down in Miami, you guys are just the nicest guys, and
Thank you.
fans remember that
Of
stuff too.
course.
Yeah, I mean, we went through that too, and we're still going through that. We're meeting people every day, people we look up to, new people that we have never met. But it's always that first impression that counts, you know, counts the
Yeah,
most.
they remember that.
Exactly. I mean, I always remember my first impressions with everyone. Like, was he nice? Was he trying to be a dick? Was he bullshitting? Was he trying to come at me like, or was he just like a really, you know, yeah.
Let's switch it up a little bit here. I've got a few questions. Okay, we'll
Oh,
start.
we got a question segment.
We
Let's
do.
go.
This is a funny one, so let's start off with this one. Andre,
And these are fan questions, right, Ty? These are from your from the Discord Instagram page.
Fans questions, and Andre from Maximo. Shout out to him. He said,
"Oh yeah,
should we drop life on Mars?"
Bro, come on, don't put that out there, bro. Are you fucking serious? At this point, I think Axmo is fucking with us.
Okay.
Nah, this is we have a track with Axmo called Life on Mars. It's one of the most requested tracks we have, and unfortunately I just don't think it's ever going to come out.
Well, why not?
Because there's politics involved.
Red tape. Damn red tape.
And that's the music business, but at the end of the day, it's just insane how much this track is requested, and it just became like an inside joke between us and Axmo. Like every single thing we do, we can say like, we just cured cancer, and a person will comment, "When's Life on Mars coming out?"
Dude, that's what we're gonna start. We're gonna start a whole petition here. Yeah, we're gonna comment. I don't know what record label it may or may not come out, but we're gonna go to your guys' pages, drop it in the comments. We're gonna spam this comment,
bro. Do like one of those like GoFundMe's for.
Yeah. We're gonna get this thing trending. We're gonna do some hashtags here. Life on
Maybe
Mars
it'll
will be
come out.
trending.
At this point, it's our only hope.
Yeah, it's our only hope.
But that's not a bad idea. I'm with you on that. I support you. It's official.
Yeah.
Like it's an official thing now. So yeah.
We have a new project. Let's go. Okay, what else we got here?
How much Mexican water did you guys drink during Miami Music Week? Because we saw the reels, and it was a crazy weekend. Like, I saw everybody drinking that.
Yeah,
More than enough. It was. I think Europe was crazier with the Mexican water thing. We went a little bit over the top in Europe, but
at the end of the day, you got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, you hear that, kids? It's about safety. It's
Exactly.
about safety.
We're doing this as a favor to our bodies, bro.
yeah.
You guys are doing music full time, or do you have any kind of side projects that you make some extra cash doing? That was another question.
Now we're doing music full time.
Yeah. Before we did have some other side hustles and some other stuff going on, but now, yeah, full-time music.
Rob, you got any questions?
Yeah, I got my blazing 4 questions. Dial it up, boys. Here we go. We're gonna go rapid fire. These are from me. Okay, these are from me.
Let's go.
All right. So you guys are SoCal guys. Okay, before we go to the first question. In-N-Out, Five Guys, Whataburger.
Chick-fil-A.
What are you guys taking? Really? What?
But for me, between those three, I think Five Guys.
I think,
Wow.
yeah, honestly,
You're a SoCal guy. You like it's we
I'm
genetically
a
have to
SoCal
like
guy
In-N-Out.
for a day, bro.
No, it's okay. Take an In-N-Out. They're on every
Listen.
corner in LA, and yeah,
In-N-Out's burgers are good. Their buns, I'm not a big fan, and their fries suck.
Oh,
I don't like their fries.
Oh, it's like potatoes. I kind of like the fries. Okay,
I don't like the In-N-Out fries. Five Guys fries slap.
okay. I like that. I like that.
Especially the Cajun ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do a little more conventional. Let's do a little more conventional here. If you had to collab with any producer out there, any artist, excuse me, who are you collabing with? Who's on top of the list?
Okay, let's do EDM and non-EDM.
Yeah. Everyone's on the table.
So EDM at the moment, for me, I would say, yeah, Hardwell with his new sound. Non-EDM, it's my same. I mean, there might be two: J. Cole or the War on Drugs. Either or.
But would you consider? I mean, J. Cole produces his tracks, or he writes?
No, he produces and
He
writes.
produces.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I don't know, because for me, it's like, who would I collab as A&G with, as A&G, or as just a separate thing? Like, there's
anybody, anytime. I mean, we know Drake's making this shit. He's dabbling in the house. Be like, everybody's crossing genre. Everybody's on the table.
Yeah, I mean, I EDM, I would say, I like what Hardwell's doing a lot. I think we could learn a lot from him, and the sound is just interesting. There's a couple tracks where I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? And I think that's always like a special thing as a producer, to like those questions when they come up, and like people who get you there. Shit. I'm a huge fan of Disclosure.
That's good.
Huge fan. Guy is a fucking genius. It's insane. And also producer, I would say, Ian Kirkpatrick. He's done stuff for Dua Lipa, and he's done a lot of like big songs. And I think I'm a huge fan of his. So collabing with him would be very interesting, I think.
We gotta make this happen. We gotta make this happen, Ian. You hearing that? Okay.
Yeah.
Now we talked a little bit about it. What's the go-to Mexican water brand? What is your favorite brand? What are we pouring up?
I mean, we need in order to answer that, bro, we need some fucking sponsors. Come on, guys. We're a golden opportunity.
Okay. No. And you guys have 44,000 Instagram followers, almost 300,000 Spotify followers. Yeah. One of these major tequila companies, they need to step up.
Exactly. Because we're Mexican, bro. I mean, what are they waiting for? But for now, we can give you a genuine answer, I think.
Yeah, for me, I think Maestro Tequilero. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I have not.
They have it in California, actually. I've found it, and they don't have it everywhere, but I'll send it to you after. It's Dobel. That's the Maestro Tequilero Dobel. It's, I think, the best ratio between taste and price.
Okay.
It's like pretty fancy, smooth, but not so expensive. So I think that one for me. What about you?
Yeah.
Maestro, same. And I mean, if you want to go more expensive, I would say Clase Azul.
For me, a more expensive Casa Dragones. I think it's better tasting Casa Dragones.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Yeah. See, I'm always down for some alcohol talk. All right, last one. All right, let me ask you guys: what would be worse? What would be fucking absolutely worse? Having your favorite ID, which now I think I know what that ID is, denied by every record label. Couldn't release it. You love it. You worked hard on it. Or if you could only work in FL Studio the rest of your life, what would be a worse fate?
Here we go.
What would be fucking worse? What? That's a great question.
I mean, honestly, I've tried FL Studio a couple times, and I just don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
I know there's amazing producers that work in FL Studio, so I respect the FL Studio grind. But I don't think it's for me. So I would say working on FL Studio for the rest of my life.
Boom. See, Tyler?
Because then not only my favorite ID would be rejected, all of my songs would be rejected.
I love it. This is why I like doing these things.
But I respect it, if it works for you, it works for you.
It's okay. You're not going to get in trouble. Ollie James is still going to work with you guys. Like it's okay. No, there are talented FL Studio producers.
Yeah, you don't enjoy when they come on here. We've had plenty. You don't enjoy it.
There's just no shame in using the inferior product. I mean, the music sounds the same, if the music
not everyone can drive a Lamborghini. No, we get it. Like we get it.
It's still going to get you somewhere.
So now that you guys are together, you guys are talking about doing more shows, right? Hopefully in the US, because I just feel like, man, dude.
Yes.
See, this is what I want to talk about. We do not have great EDM presence here in the States. And I've always said, like, if there was, I mean, you're going to get the headliners, you're going to get Guetta coming through, of course, Hardwell. selling out shows wherever. But I'm talking like guys like you. We talked about it with like Ollie James. Like this is the kind of EDM presence I'd like to see. More specifically, like in LA, San Diego.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like, is that a goal of yours to play more clubs here? And yeah. Let's like, how do you guys plan on doing that? Because the U.S. is it right now. What it's big, like EDM is like big in house, right? A lot of house music and doesn't necessarily
Tech house.
So how does that affect? Yeah, bass. Yeah. How does that affect you guys? Is that something that how do you crack through that?
I mean, it's a challenge. I think it's definitely challenging. At least here in LA, the biggest clubs are still EDM. Exchange, Academy, Avalon is still big. Sound, I mean, it's a little more underground, but I've seen a couple more EDM acts in Sound. There's still there are places where people go and listen, and they're very mainstream places. So and big venues. So I think opportunities are there. It's a challenge for sure. You have Time nightclub as well in OC. You have Nova in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Insomniac just bought that out. Because like Will Sparks, Will Sparks will be here in a couple weeks. He'll be up in LA in a couple weeks. So I was really encouraged to see that dude. That guy bangs too. But like, I is that like you said, playing a US tour? Like, is that something that's really directly on your radar right now? Or
100%.
I mean, we're working our hardest on it for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal now, because we were not allowed to play gigs in the US because of our visa situation. But now that we are, it's
wait. What do you mean you couldn't play with your visa situation?
Yeah, we didn't have an artist visa, so we could not get paid for playing shows in the US. And we could legally not play shows in the U.S., so that was always a problem. And I know a lot of artists in the industry suffer from this. It's a very tricky situation.
Even big artists that you wouldn't think. So it's in the U.S. and I mean obviously everywhere else in the world, but especially in the U.S., you got to be very careful with that, because as a non-U.S. citizen, it can get a little tricky, so you have to take it very seriously.
I didn't know that was a thing, Ty. Did you? I had no idea.
And it's hard. I mean, it's not an easy process. It's not cheap. It requires a lot of time, a lot of achievement, so it's been a tough thing to achieve.
That makes sense now. So now you guys have that taken care of.
Now we do.
Full steam ahead.
Yeah. And we literally just we got here. We got to the US like 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So now we're just starting to build that.
Well, we better see you everywhere in the United States now.
Hopefully. We don't have any excuses now.
Well, so walk me through, because you guys have played, EDC, Ultra. You guys are like the who's who. Your fans already know that. Walk me through what your fans don't know, which would be like, what do you guys do to get ready for a gig? I'm not talking about curating the set list. I'm talking about like what takes place backstage. How do you guys get hyped? Because it's a lot of energy you guys put into your shows. You pride yourselves on very energetic sets. So how do you match your energy with your music? Like, how do you prepare for that?
I think before shows we're pretty like chill. Honestly, we're it's not like we're big drinkers before shows, or we're like we have a ritual, or we do something to get. No, bro. I think we're honestly pretty chill before shows. After shows, then
that's a different story.
Business first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the way we operate. It's business first. You do what you have to do, and then go run free.
Yeah, and I think it's I think we just feel it out. I think it just depends on the show. It depends on, but I don't think we have like a certain ritual. I mean, we probably have. We're just talking to people. We're just like trying to like mentally get there where it's like
feel out the crowd,
exactly the vibe, and I mean 1-2 songs in, you get in the zone, and then you just you guys know the feeling. So it's just doing what you know how to do best, and just
you talked about after parties. What's the best after party you've been to? You play, like you said, all these venues. You got any after party stories for like what went off? What is the craziest after party A&G has done?
We had one in China that was pretty insane. I don't know. There's just this thing in Mexico where you take, a tequila shot. It's called banderita. You do salt in the nose, lime in the eye, and then tequila shot.
Wow. Well, that dude. Okay, I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah, we're gonna put a video right here on the podcast. We'll send it to you. So what you're watching right now is us giving a banderita to a Chinese guy.
And they went crazy with the banderita, bro. They love that shit. Okay, salt. Go.
Holy shit. Crazy. It's good shot.
Go. 1, 2, 3. Open.
Oh shit!
Drink.
Motherfucker! 拿点水，冲一下，拿点冲一下。
At the end, we had to go straight to the airport for a flight to Shanghai, and then we were drunk as fuck, and the driver, he was falling asleep, but he couldn't speak English, so we were just like clapping and playing music and shouting so the guy wouldn't.
What kind of dude? Could you imagine Ty going to get an Uber and this guy like is just falling fucking asleep?
It wasn't even an Uber. It was a driver from the club.
Yeah.
So it was I mean it was what, like 4 a.m. I think
4 or 5 a.m. But he couldn't speak a word of English, so it was not like, bro, can I mean, I don't know. Also, it's not like we could have jumped in the driver's seat because we were drunk as fuck and we were in China, bro. I don't know what the speed limit is. I don't understand.
Dude, it's 50-50 making that flight to Shanghai.
That was a crazy one.
That was a crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, okay, when you're in other countries, they see big acts like yourself. You have big international profiles. Dude, is it like the DJ life? Because I've had a couple underground guys ask me, like, is that the life? Is the DJ life, how it's portrayed, girls throwing yourself at you or whatever, and it's just going nuts? Is that something you guys have experienced, or is that a bit of a myth?
I think it depends on the country.
Yeah.
I think there's countries where they see you as like God, and they're genuine fans. They're excited to see you. You see them like shaking, coming up to you. Like it's honestly, it's a very special feeling, but it's also weird. Like we were just talking about it. We had this event in Mexico, like very exclusive event where we invited some fans into like a showcase that we did with we played a bunch of IDs. We met them. We had time to talk to them. We gave a little presentation on our story, and having people coming out to you and just shaking and just being nervous. It's just it's crazy, it's just shocking. And I think it depends on the country, but the girls and I mean,
I think it's a bit mythified.
It is.
Depends on the personality. I mean, at the end of the day, there's different ways of approaching it. Like we've spoken to people, or I've seen people how they behave. It's like, okay, yeah, we lived our rock star phase. Now we're just, portfolio, suit and tie, bro. We go play our show and then we go home because we lived that rock star life already. So I think you can pretty much live it however you want to.
I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are people as well too.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
But it's not as glamorous as you think. No.
Because you guys did a section on that, like what people think producers and DJs get paid and what the reality of it is. So you guys have kind of highlighted that.
It's true. Honestly, it's if you're here for the money, it's not the right career. Yes, you can make a lot of money, but first things first. It's about being passionate. It's about loving what you do, and then things will come. Things will fall into place. Things will, or maybe they won't. But that's what we're all betting on.
You don't know till you try. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, exactly. So like when you're on the road, right? And it's great because I really thought that you had a management team that takes care of all this for you. So like for like, hotels and things like that, is that comped by the venues? Is that something you guys got
I
to
mean,
work out?
no,
Like,
it depends. It depends on the deal, but I mean, I just don't think there's a straight answer to all of this. Most of the times, yeah, deals where they fly you out and they pay your hotel and yeah, that's how it should be.
yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's just a lot of different ways that this plays out, depending on the promoter, on the country, on the venue, on the timing, on if it's a festival or a club. You know, it could be a million different things.
Well, it's good that you guys have had your hand on the pulse. You guys have dealt with this A to
Yeah.
Z, so you kind of know, like when you do onboard a management team, you kind of know what they're selling to you if it's legitimate or not.
Yeah, of course.
You guys have done this. So while you guys have released on all of these different labels, right? Armada, Maxximize, certainly Rave Culture, the who's who of EDM. What's home for A&G? Like when you have a work in progress and you say, "Man, this could be big." Do you have a label you say, "This is our home. This is where we kind of want to send it first"?
that's a good question.
I think every song has its home. To
Yeah.
us, every label works in a different way. There's labels that put in a little bit more time and effort into certain things that others don't, but then the others do. And it's ultimately, I think it's about what's the vision for the track and what is your ultimate goal for the track
And what's the fit?
and what's the fit, because I mean you have to obviously think of the label vibe, the sound, the concept of the song, the title, like who can make a crazier artwork, like who can make, it just depends on what you want.
You don't go into it as I'm making a song for rave culture only. This is what it's going to be.
Not
No,
really. I mean, sometimes yes, we're like we have to, approach a song in a certain way where we think from our experience, like this label will maybe perform better with this type of song. Uh, so we'll approach it that way, but not necessarily like we're gonna sit down and do like, hey, let's do a reveal track, or let's do a Maxximize track, a Rave Culture track, or Armada track. It I mean, there's been a bunch of times where we target a song for a certain label and it ends up being on another one, and it
Yeah,
performs really good.
yeah.
I think it's part of it,
Yeah, no, dude, that's that. No, it's crazy. Just like you said, I know we've gone through a ton of questions and things like that, and you guys have been awesome, like kind of answering it. And I know we've
Oh,
thrown
Thank
a
you.
lot at you.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
it's been a fun conversation.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, it's
nice flow.
I think we've touched a lot of topics that hopefully everyone that's hearing this will find interesting and they'll learn from it. And I mean, yeah,
We're happy. We're happy to.
and
share.
if you
Always
have
happy to share.
any other questions or anything, you guys can always hit us up on Instagram.
So
I mean,
wait, you guys have your hand on the pulse when it comes to the underground scene. I know you guys have done Discord events. You guys have done things like with the Intensity Discord, if I'm not mistaken. So you've done a lot of like Steve W's Discord. So okay, you guys get a lot of demos submitted to you, a lot of collab ideas and so forth. That's just probably the nature of the beast, right? What do you want to see out of underground, like the underground scene in general? Like, what do you want to see from these producers to kind of say, hey, look, this is what you're doing. This is what you probably need to be doing, what you should be doing.
I think we want to see
innovation.
innovation, originality, thinking outside the box, a well-rounded product where you worry on everything, on your brand, on your identity, on your sound, on your music.
A good first impression too.
Yeah.
That to me is something I can't stress enough. It's I think very, very important because people remember, and like your first Instagram message, like don't, it's be smart with what your first impression is like, because people do remember. Even the biggest artists, they'll remember. Maybe you think they don't, but they do.
That's a good one.
So I think that's I mean, that's a good tip that I would give to the community, and something I would like to see the community keep on doing, because there's I think the community has evolved a lot, and it's actually scary how much talent there's out there. Like, it's insane. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, some people are not the full package. And nowadays, like what we spoke about, you need to be everything. You need to have the whole thing.
But you can always work on it. Just try
exactly
and innovate. Try and.
But be aware of what you're getting yourself into. You know, you're just not gonna come in and produce a track and try. Like, you will have 1,000 like different focuses.
I think my biggest takeaway from our conversation, it's something that's probably going to stick with me for a long time after, is like, always have confidence in yourself. I think when you guys said that, because we talked about like joking, like, hey, our first projects aren't always our best, but you guys like said right off the rip, like, we know we can do this.
Yeah.
We just got to get our education up. Like, I thought that was really telling. And then your best piece of advice is like, fuck it, this is who we are. Like, that to me was obviously simplistic in nature, but man, that is so true, because it's hard we want to portray ourselves online in a certain way. And I think you guys kind of just washed that away. Like, you didn't worry about the image, because we always worry about that. Like, is this going to look bad? And you guys just said, fuck it. This is who we are.
We would worry about that for so long. And then it just started feeling repetitive. Like, it's like you release a song and then you have a post where it says, my song is coming out in 2 days. Like, who cares? Like, no one cares anymore. No one cares anymore. It's boring.
Like, dude.
You know, so find ways to promote your track
originally. Creatively, and in a way that like someone will send it to his wife and be like, look at this shit. It's so funny.
That's what I fucking did. And it's funny. I said to my wife, exactly, Ty. And it's like, the days of, hey, guess the label, no, man, I'm not doing that anymore.
Shit that still works. There's stuff that still works if you do it the right way. And if you're huge, obviously people will care. But if you're starting to build your fan base, which we still are, and we will continue to, and sometimes it's hard. I mean, it's the easy way out. Like, you know, you have the artwork, it's a piece of content. But, I mean, I remember back in 2016, 2015, you would post an artwork and the hype would be insane.
Yeah.
Like, the hype would be out of control. And it just doesn't work that way anymore. No one cares, you know? So it's more about finding ways to get people's attention.
Well, I want to bring it back to 2016 real quick. Your first track on Rave Culture was Rave City, right? I remember seeing you guys posting the video about all the ideas you sent to W&W, and it just was not clicking. It was not the one that they wanted until you got to that big break with Rave City. Can you walk us through that little process right there with W&W and the whole history up until that point?
Yeah. I mean, W&W have always been super helpful with us. They've always reached out to, like, given us a helping hand. But we've always had a dream of signing a track. Back then, Main Stage Music, then became Rave Culture. But the tracks, I mean, they have a super picky A&R team, and that's why their label works so well, because they release quality over quantity, I think, in a way. And the tracks just weren't there, and we kept on sending. And even before Rave City, we were going to sign one of the other tracks to their label, and they said, like, no. Like, they told us, we'll send the agreement soon. And they were like, no, you know what? This doesn't work. We would like Rave City more. So it was just a process of grinding and being confident in what we sent, and then just readapting ourselves and just not giving up. It's literally not giving up ever.
That's why it stuck with me, man, because the inspiration behind that whole video, it shows everybody in the underground and anybody in general that you put enough time into it, you can make it happen.
Yeah, and it's that track specifically, I think it's 7 or 8 years of work. And I remember when we gave our first, I don't think we mentioned this in the video, like we didn't go this into detail, but when there's a picture when we first met, and they were signing some I actually have
they were signing CDs and
this is the reel that you got, the video you guys made for it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I met ANG, is through this video. That's how I had known of you guys through like other producer friends. Like I had just kind of gotten into the scene myself, and you guys made this like really emotional, like I thought it was super emotional video of like, hey, we were kids, we got an autograph, right? Like this,
Yeah.
that's the story you guys were referring to.
And we were talking about it when we first wanted to do the video, and I remember it's like I was telling Gabriel the idea, and he was like, dude, like we didn't win a Grammy, or we didn't like, we signed a song to Rave Culture, you know, people won't give a fuck. And then we thought about it, and we were like, people will actually care. I mean, there's how many people want to be on the label, how many people have been working. So there's always, no matter how big your achievements, your accomplishments, I think there's always going to be people that relate. And so don't be afraid to put those stories out, because they're the one, those are the ones that work best. Like shit that people can relate to are reels. Like you can relate to the reels, you know, like this is not the reality. This is the reality. And it is. I mean, obviously we're making it a little more funny, whatever, but it's not a lie, you know, it's true. And yeah, I mean, it's for Rave City, that track is special, very, very special. And we're grateful for the opportunity. And I think that track really,
it gave us like a push, a certain push to continue to do what we've been doing in the past 2 years, which we think has been pretty solid work, and we've seen it reflect.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
go away.
Rave City will hold a special holds a special place in our hearts.
And that's why I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, good call, because that song has aged fantastic. Like, there are songs,
Thank you.
there are songs that, you know, from the Bigroom world, any realm, R&B world, they're a little cringe when you listen to them 7 years, you know, down the road. But dude, that song goes off. Dude, that song bangs.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, we've been trying to do a follow up, and it's hard to top. I mean, it's a song that
it's a special.
It has something, you know. And I remember I found the voice note the other day. I sent the voice note to Gabriel. I was like, dude, what if we make a track that goes like this, and then this, like the initial idea, and I still have it here. And it's funny to like look back and see how the process starts. Like it all comes from an idea, and just like, so it's crazy. I don't know. It's just funny to me to like look back and see. And that track took so long to make. Like it was a hard one to finish.
Yeah, you guys changed the game, dude, with the voice notes and everything. Everybody, after they said all that, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw my name in the hat, started doing that shit, because everyone started looking around. Well, fuck, I got a mic, you know. And then you should see everybody was doing it in their phones, and then slapping their project, and it was just awful. And then you taught them how to actually process it properly. Fucking changed the game, dude. I'm being serious too. We did Ty on our that was my voice on the track that we made.
I know, I was gonna say that.
Yeah. I put myself in the writing credits, and I was like, "Thank you, A&G, for this." And it was great. I was like, "No, I'm in the writing credits on Spotify."
Thank you.
In the book, but that changed, dude.
Always experiment. We just did a track. We're not gonna talk much about it, but it's an idea. But we literally recorded it in Mexico. We didn't have a mic now that we were in Mexico, and we recorded it with the speaker
from the computer,
the mic, the computer mic. And holy shit, like we recorded like 300 takes, or like 350, and it sounds like a stadium. It sounds like a crowd, like a massive chant, and it's all with the computer mic, like with the laptop mic. So technology has come to a point where you really have no excuse.
Yeah. And especially the information you guys put out there, like that, like you said, we just touched on it before, dude. There's so much info now to how to process it properly, so it doesn't sound like you're talking in a hallway. Like it's absolutely incredible. And apparently, you guys made a stadium out of it.
It's crazy. Actually, my mind was blown when I didn't think it was going to work out like that. But then after working on it for like an hour, I was like, holy shit, like I don't need a mic anymore.
Oh, when this track drops, I'm gonna think back to this conversation.
Yeah, we'll probably do a whole thing because we recorded ourselves,
yeah,
like some content and stuff.
For
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll come out soon if everything goes as planned. But if not, we'll definitely we're gonna use that technique again, like so many times. Like it's easy, it's accessible, and it's fast, and it's just your laptop. You know, like you can do it anywhere.
Dude, that's awesome.
Well, we don't want to hold you guys up too much, but what are some things that you guys maybe want to touch on or talk about, and some tips and tricks for people? You've gave some already, but what are some other tips and tricks you might have for the younger guys and people like us?
I mean, something that works for me is always, I mean, my process when it comes, I think Gabriel works a little bit different, but I think mine personally is I just start working on an idea and then I leave it for a while, and then I start another one, and I start another one, another one, until then I stumble upon an idea where I'm like, oh shit, like this idea might go well with this other idea that I started. So I start like combining sounds from different projects, and then it starts coming together. Like, hey, I like the drums that I did in this idea. Maybe the leads suck. I hate the leads, but the drums sound really good. So you start, it's all like everything you do counts, even if it's a bass line, a sound. I can guarantee that you're gonna end up using it in the long run. Like, it's insane how much.
Puzzle.
Yeah, like tell the story of Thousand Drums.
For me,
I'll be right back, guys. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
For me, it's a way more like it's a process where I try and draw inspiration from anything that's around, or like, I don't know, if I see an old video or an old clip or just I don't know, in whatever I see, I just try and draw inspiration from that and take it back to the drawing board. I'm more like, I gather information and then I try to bring it back into the studio. But yeah, like that's the thing. Also, like when starting different ideas, and also something very important is having a vision. Like the Thousand Drum story that Arturo was saying, we started that song 8 years ago, and it was intended to be an Origin collab, Origin Nielsen. We drew inspiration from him for the track. At the moment, it just didn't work out for some reason. And then we were in the studio a year ago, and we were like, okay, we should rework this to the more modern sound, the more like future rave-ish kind of sound. It's a solid melody. We have a better sound design now. And then that became the Origin Nielsen collab, which was intended to be 8 years ago, and then it was just a full circle moment.
Nice. Save everything,
Oh, yeah,
guys.
for
You
sure.
may use it, right? So I would that's my takeaway, man. 8 years ago, and you kind of circled back around and was able to get it done. That's
real.
That's awesome.
Takes time sometimes.
Exactly. And name your projects something that you will remember and be able to identify.
ID 1, ID 2, ID 3.
Yeah, that's honestly, that would be another tip. Organize your shit. Organize everything. I think the moment that I started organizing my stuff, that was a game changer for me. Like, the way I do it is, just to briefly, I mean, maybe this works for some of you guys. I just have folders with each month and year. And if I start an idea, it belongs to that folder. And we have a folder, a shared Dropbox folder, which it's going to become useless that it's shared because we're going to live together now. But where we just literally we bounce an idea and we put it there. We bounce, we put it, we bounce, 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 bounce. And we have a million versions of each project. But I think that's a good way to keep track. Like, every little change we make, we save a new version.
It's great. Do you know? Because you can progression.
Yeah, and some people look at when we collab in person, they're like, why the fuck do you have 56 versions of this track? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, dude, they're not very different from each other. There might be a couple tweaks, but then if I want to go back to how I had it, then I can, So I never overwrite anything.
That's a good idea.
I've screwed up before, and I'm like, fuck, This was good 20 like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Not even 2 hours, like 5 minutes ago, and you don't remember what you did. You were just messing around.
Yeah.
And if you have bounces, then you can compare, like
Yeah.
immediately put them in your session and be like, hey, like where the leads louder, the leads were a little brighter, stuff like that. So it's a lot of files, obviously, but that just works for us.
That's a good one. Do you guys start from templates or like your own templates?
Not
You
really.
make, or is it dead as scratch each time?
I mean, I've been trying to. This is my next mission, organizing mission. I just switched computers, so I'm still like working on that. But there's a lot of chains, a lot of presets, leads, stuff like that I've been saving over the years that just make things easier. I know what works for me. I put a master chain on the project sometimes. I know that it's going to work at this level if I start mixing at this level. Like, you have to find your own process, I think, and that takes time, a lot of time. But it's all about just practicing and just working, and then you'll find it eventually.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's a great tip.
Those are gems, bro. Gems.
Well, we appreciate having you guys on. This was a great episode.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. It was.
Yeah,
it was fun chatting with you guys. A lot of good questions. A lot of insight on.
Thank you
on our stuff and what we're doing.
Yeah, we always liked people who make us remember, and obviously a flowing conversation. I mean, you guys are amazing at this. Not anyone can have a conversation like this, so we really do appreciate that, and thank you for letting us be a part of this.
Not a problem.
No,
man.
you guys have a lot ahead of you. It's just funny because to end on this, you've achieved so much. I think that's fair to say, right? Somebody in the underground say like, whoa, Ultra, EDC, boom, these guys are the biggest. And there's so much more ahead for you guys. You guys have, like I said, barely scratched the surface. Just like, it's crazy. That for me kind of took me back a little bit in our pre-chats. It's like, whoa, this is just the beginning for you guys. I know that everyone wants to move forward, sure, but you guys really haven't really hit your full potential. You're not even close. And we
like to think like that, we like to think, and we like to stay optimistic. And thank you for saying that. We appreciate it a lot. It. And hopefully you're right.
No, yeah. I mean, like I said, the other 40%, when you guys fill that in to get it, like it's going to be exciting to watch this.
Thank you.
I'm sure, like a lot of people, they are going to be glued to you, and you guys are going to be a household name here pretty soon. I'm excited.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate your support, and thank you for the time and everything. Yeah, the space.
Not a problem.
For letting us talk our bullshit over here and our story and
anytime.
And yeah, I mean, if anyone that's watching this, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything else.
Well, we'll definitely have you guys back eventually in the future and all that.
Of course.
Looking forward for part 2.
Yeah, and maybe definitely we can do like some kind of Discord event too, and more people can ask you some more questions.
100%. Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing.
Well, guys, I think that's it for another episode of Voices of Underground. Once again, I want to say thank you to A&G for being on here. You could go and follow them at A&G DJs on Instagram, and you could go and follow my co-host at Robert Go on Instagram, and you can follow myself at Young Ty on Instagram. And we have a Discord, guys, like we said. The link will be in the description, and we'll see you guys on another episode of Voices of Underground. Thanks, guys.